If you're new, my name's Nicholas and this is Investing Against the Grain. This week is Vlogsgiving. In other words, I'm making a video every single day of the week. If you're new, you're not familiar with my layout, I normally release a video on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. However, as a software system engineer, I decided to go ahead and take off the whole week, so I have more time on my hands, and so I decided to give some of that time out to all of you. And so I'm going to be releasing a video every single day this week. And so this is episode 3 of Vlogsgiving. And in today's episode, if you can't tell, it's late, a little bit later into the day, and I purposely want to wait until I saw whether or not Tesla released some SEC filings Form 4. And so we'll talk about that a little bit today. This has to do with Elon Musk selling his 10% stake in Tesla and see where we are with that 10% itself. So we're going to cover that first and foremost in this episode. And then we're going to get into some interesting interviews that happened today, or I guess releases from CNBC. And it turns out the competition is coming for Tesla. So we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at some Cybertruck news that is actually very fascinating, especially considering that Cybertruck has not started production just yet. And then finally, we're going to take a look at some amazing 10.5 FSD clips. Now, before we get into all of that, don't forget to check out our merchandise store. We just released it about 2 days ago now, so we have a lot of cool merchandise out there. Do me a favor, if you guys have any creative ideas or anything, you know, we like to crowdsource great ideas, innovative ideas. Even if you don't have a real concept, let us know. My fiance is very artistic, so she can make some cool stuff happen. Let us know. Drop me something down below in the comment. We can make it happen. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. But you know the drill. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and let's get into it. Let's kick things off talking about Elon Musk and the selling of his 10% share. So as we all know, over the last few days, Elon has not been selling. At least we haven't seen any SEC Form 4 filings on the Tesla investor webpage. And I think Gary Black surmised it perfectly, which we'll see right here. So he said, tonight we'll learn that either one, Elon hasn't been selling shares, likely signaling the presence of an MNPI. An MNPI is material non-public information. And so if Elon did come across some MNPI, material non-public information, that would give a reason for Elon to stop selling shares. So what could that be? That could be whether or not he knows Giga Berlin's about to open, Austin's about to open, maybe there's a stock split, right? Anything like this could be a cause for him to stop selling shares. And so with Gary Black, this is essentially the second option, or the first option he says, right? So if no more selling happens, then this could be one of the reasons. The second incident is that Elon has been selling, which gets him that much closer to finishing his 10% sale. So if he did sell some, we should see tonight a Form 4 filed, and then we can see what the status is with the selling and how much closer we are to getting to that 10%. And then finally, the third option is that Elon has been auto-selling under his 10b5-1 plan, which may again show 934,091 shares, which if you do the math or you jumble the numbers, comes out to a 12,944,1, which could be indication of a split on December 9th with a 4-to-1 ratio. So that's what we're seeing here. These are different options, and this is one of the reasons why I waited until so late to do this video. It's nearly midnight by the time I'm recording this here, so hopefully you guys can bear with me. But let's go ahead and take a look to see what happened. So here we can see our little tracker for Elon selling his 10% stake. And as you can see, we pretty much had a pause after November 16th. So after November 16th, we haven't seen any selling at all happening for Elon. And then tonight, lo and behold, we actually got a Form 4 SEC filing via Tesla's investor page. And that was actually for today. So a lot of times these Form 4s can be delayed about 2 days. And so it might have been from a previous date where that Form 4 is associated with. So in other words, today, as of recording this, would be Tuesday, so it could have been for Monday, but it wasn't. This Form 4 was for November 23rd, and once again, we see it's 934,091 shares. So this is great news on many fronts, right? If nothing else, it means that we're getting closer to finishing that 10% sale. And so right here, we can see how much he sold total, a little over 9 million shares. And if we do this math here, So assuming that 10% is equivalent to 17 million shares for Elon, and this could be looked at a few different ways. At the very lowest, 10% would be 17 million. At the highest, it would be about, I think, 25 million shares. So we're just using 17 million for actual shares that he had. We're not going to include non-exercise options, things of that nature. So with that said, he would have about 7.8 million shares left to go, which means he has sold about 54% of what he needs to get to that 10%, right? So 54% of the 17 million has been sold at this point. And so we'll see what happens here moving forward. We'll see if this continues tomorrow. Don't forget that on Thursday, the stock market will be closed. And I believe Friday is a half day. Something I've been meaning to look into, but for some reason I haven't. I'm pretty sure it's a half day. I know it's definitely closed on Thursday. So keep that in mind. We'll see what plays out. But this does tell us a lot as to what happened today and yesterday. So yesterday, in the video yesterday when we were looking at the stock price, I mentioned how there's a bump up in volume. We're about 34 million in volume, where traditionally we're somewhere in the 20 millions. So what this tells us though is that had nothing to do with Elon selling. And today, about a million, so a very small percentage, right? So a small fraction of what was traded today was Elon. So I don't think this is too much pressure, but it is decent amount of selling pressure regardless when you get just this big chunk of shares being sold in the open market. So all right. So with that said, we did take a hit today in the stock market when it comes to Tesla, depending on how you want to look at it, right? I think at one point we're down maybe 7 or 8%, and then we closed at about 3% down. So really nothing crazy, normal gyration in the stock price, nothing out of the ordinary for Tesla. We're still at a very high level. We're still very close to all-time highs. So overall, I think considering where we are, the holiday weekend, all the news going on, the news with Jerome Powell, interest rates, the 10 years going up, just a lot of other macro pressures on the stock market in general, I think Tesla's doing just fine. So nothing really to worry about. Okay, enough of this. Let's go ahead and check into this competition that seems Tesla's finally getting, and let's see what that looks like. So here we can see from CNBC, new data shows Tesla is leaving the competition in the dust when it comes to California's massive auto market. Phil LeBeau has the numbers here. And so we're going to watch this interview real quick. This is with Andrew Ross Sorkin, Phil LeBeau. And again, I did say the competition was coming. I didn't say it was good competition. And as you can see just from this headline, clearly Elon Musk, Tesla, they are crushing it. So let's check out this video clip real quick.
We're going to talk a little bit about Tesla because it is feeling the California love. You ready for this? New data showing that the EV giant is leaving the competition in the dust somewhere on the Pacific Coast Highway. And for that, Phil LeBeau joins us this morning. Phil.
Andrew, we get this data every quarter from the California New Car Dealers Association, and it's a great look at how the country's largest auto market is moving in terms of trends, what people are buying, what they're not buying, and the numbers look incredible for Tesla. Now, they've always been strong in California. It's always been their strongest market. But look at the surge in sales this year. Nobody's close to them, up 64%. There you see Porsche, Hyundai, and Kia. The strength of this, the Model Y. Now, the Model 3 has always done well there, but the Model Y, it is the fifth best-selling model in California. Let me stress this again. Not the fifth best electric vehicle, the fifth best-selling vehicle, period. It is also the number one luxury compact SUV in California. One reason why when you take a look at Tesla's annual sales, the estimates continue to go up, not just because of California, but because of what they're doing worldwide. The estimate now, according to FactSet, is for full-year deliveries to reach 893,000 vehicles. Don't be surprised by the end of the year if the estimate tops 900,000 vehicles. As you take a look at Tesla over the last 3 months, remember, the Gigafactory hasn't even come online. It starts production the end of this year. We'll probably start to see the first vehicles coming out of the Gigafactory next year, and we don't see the Cybertruck until towards the end of next year coming out of there. Also want to show you Ford, Rivian, and General Motors. And why am we showing you all three of these companies? Because all of them have electric pickup trucks that are either have already started deliveries. In the case of Rivian with the R1T, you've got the F-150 Lightning from Ford, and then you've got General Motors E-Silverado. Yes, they have the Hummer SUT, but the E-Silverado is the really high-volume electric pickup truck that's coming in 2023. What you're going to see is a real battle, guys, in Southern California, because it is the largest pickup market in this country. Larger than Dallas and Houston, Southern California. And it's also a nice mix of both the traditional full-size pickup buyer as well as the lifestyle buyer. And that's where the Cybertruck is likely to do very well. So new numbers out of California show just how strong Tesla is in that state. And I expect that they will maintain that dominance, certainly when it comes to electric vehicles in that state. But when you see the overall market, with the Model Y now the 5th best-selling vehicle overall, shows you just how quickly Tesla has established itself out there.
As you can tell, clearly Tesla's doing just fine. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, California, that's a very electric-heavy market for electric vehicles, but keep in mind, this wasn't just, amongst electric vehicles. Tesla was the Model Y was the 5th best-selling vehicle, period, in all of California. Not only that, it was the #1 compact luxury brand. And so to think that this vehicle that's at about high 40s, low $50,000 average selling price is doing so well, that's just ridiculous. Okay, that's incredible. And keep in mind, there's still this huge back order for Tesla, right? They have so much demand, it's insane. These gigafactories can't open fast enough. Now, we saw the rest of the competition there. It's not doing much. It's funny not to see GM or Ford up there. Just something to think about. What I found very interesting, though, was that Phil had mentioned that Southern California is the largest market in the country for trucks. That really shocked me. If that's true, and I honestly haven't looked this up, so I'm not going to question him. But assuming that's true, and that's not some city in Texas, that's amazing, because when it comes to the Cybertruck, that means, in my opinion, that the vehicles like the F-150, whatever GM comes out to, whether it's the Sierra, GMC, I don't know what they're going to come out with, but whatever they come out with, the Silverado and even Rivian, it really looks like that the Cybertruck might really take a commanding lead in Southern California. If California itself as a state is really favoring Tesla, which makes sense, right? Tesla started in California, and this is a region that's in California. Add that into it, and then it's also not just people who want to use trucks for everyday type work, but just lifestyle. I have a Cybertruck on order as well. I know many people who have Cybertrucks on order, right? So this is going to be a very big, compelling story moving forward, especially as Giga Austin opens up. This is where the Cybertruck will be built. Now, on that same note, let's take a look at this headline from Electric real quick. So this is from Electric. It says, Tesla Cybertruck reservations backlog reaches $80 billion in value based on latest tally. $80 billion in value. That's essentially more than the market cap of GM or Ford in just one vehicle that Tesla has in the Cybertruck. Now, this vehicle, I'm going to do a whole episode about this eventually. It's something I have in the backlog, something I really want to devote the proper time and do some good engineering work looking at it. But this vehicle is amazing. Not only is it extremely simple and cost effective to build and make, but from a user experience, a user perspective, based on the exoskeleton design, it's going to be something that's just very sturdy and very reliable, very dependable, and very low maintenance for anybody who buys one. Now, I know the image of the Cybertruck can be polarizing for some people, and I won't lie, it was to me. When I first saw it, I honestly thought the Cybertruck was the ugliest vehicle I'd ever seen. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what happened over time, but now I think it's the sexiest vehicle I've ever seen from a truck perspective. I still think the Tesla Roadster is by far the sexiest vehicle I've ever seen, but this Cybertruck, the more I look at, the more I wait for this, the more I love the design. It's almost like a song that everybody loves, that's popular, and everyone thinks it's so great, but maybe you don't like it. And then after you hear it about 3 or 4 or 5 times, all of a sudden you're like, all right, I get why people like this. Like now, you're kind of bopping to it and you're into it. That's what this has done to me. over time, I've come to really appreciate the design of the Cybertruck. So I'm really excited about this. Okay, with that said, let's talk about FSD 10.5. If you haven't watched any of the videos on YouTube, I highly recommend you watch them. If you haven't seen anyone comment about it on Twitter, I highly recommend you jump on there and check it out. There's a lot of great people to watch, especially on YouTube. Frenchie, I love Frenchie. I highly recommend you check him out. Check out Dirty Tesla. He has great stuff. Kim Parquet, I think that's how you say her name. I always butcher it. Great stuff. Chuck Cook, who you guys all know I love. He hasn't put anything out just yet, so I'm waiting on that. Holmar's catalog has a bunch of videos out, so there's a lot of things to go and check out. I highly recommend you do it. It'll give you a good idea of where 10.5 is, but I'll give you the general consensus. The general consensus, wow, mind blown. 10.5, everybody seems to be saying the same thing, is a clear level jump. All right, it's clearly the best version of FSD Beta yet. Keep in mind, I just said beta. In other words, beta means not software, not feature complete. The software is still a work in progress. It's a beta software. So, before anybody says anything, for all of you at home, there's no such thing as a full self-driver feature complete software with Tesla. It's a work in progress, but we're getting damn close. All right. It seems like based on these videos that we're just making progression after progression. Now, I still have yet to actually drive in one that has FSD. If anybody is in the Florida area and has FSD Beta, let me know. I would love to meet up with you and do something, make a video or something and just check it out. And the real impetus for me to do that, other than just to geek out on it, is really to understand where FSD Beta is currently at. What I've seen a lot of people say is that they watch on YouTube, they think it's, just so close to being done, but then they actually get it and they experience it and they realize, okay, maybe we're not quite there. But then I also see those same people, for instance, Dave Lee said this, and then Rob Maurer said the same thing. And then after they had it for a few weeks and it seems like they've built some trust with the software and they're not so hesitant at letting it do what it needs to do, all of a sudden, it seems like they now think, okay, maybe it's not as far as I initially thought whenever I first got it. So there's definitely a trust relationship that has to occur between the software and you as the driver. And you almost have to let go a little bit in order to let the software do what it has to do. Of course, you always have to be vigilant and pay attention, have your hands on the steering wheel, but there is this give and take, especially with anyone who's new to the software. Anyways, if you do have FSD Beta and you are in the Florida area, do me a favor, just send me an email or drop a comment below. Love to meet up with you. Love to try to get something going here. But with that said, I'm going to roll this video, this clip, which I think speaks volumes to FSD Beta 10.5. It's a roundabout that really, me as a human driver at night, I would be confused on what to do in this scenario. There's lots of cones, lots of traffic, and FSD Beta handles it flawlessly. In previous iterations of FSD Beta, it did not. So this is a video from Kim Parquet. Shout out to her. She does amazing stuff. I believe she's out of Rhode Island. So check this out. I'm going to leave it there for today. But don't forget to check out our merchandise store. Again, links down below in the description. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and let's check this video out. I love you all. Peace.
Really nice turn, and I have to say it's been hesitant there because of the cones. So I'm gonna dial down my speed here so that I am okay. That was good. No cars coming, so it can go. Oh, and it did. Keep going. Oh. Wow. Okay, that was totally impressive. It hasn't been able to go through that rotary. If it yields, which usually it doesn't, it just stops. It will go out into the rotary and then decide it wants to yield. It yielded appropriately there. A lot of times when it starts going around, when it's going to the left around, it gets confused as if it should keep going around or if it should get off at the exit, which it shouldn't. But it would like stop there, just be very, very, very hesitant through that rotary. So that was actually the best that it's done. So I don't know if that was luck or 10.5, but that was great.